and talk about a very interesting subject today, and that is anger. And anger, is it a mask? Is it a mask for other emotions and feelings? And so I think that it is something that we need to dig a little deeper into, and maybe talk about ways that we can resolve it or discuss it and have those conversations. I particularly think this is an issue with men, but I think it can be an issue with anybody. So I think it's an important issue to discuss. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what is considered acceptable, particularly with men. Again, this is very different depending on who you are and what the perceptions are. And I don't believe this is fair or right or agreeable, but it is the way it is. And that is anger for men is considered aggression, and aggression is considered being protective and supportive. And you will see it a lot of times in the military athletics or whatever. The conversation around aggressive men is not a bad thing. It is considered a positive. It's like, oh, he's so aggressive. It also is assertiveness. It is the idea of being assertive. So if you are assertive, it allows you to be a good leader. It gives you great leadership skills, shows that you are taking control of the situation, that you're not being run over. And so that assertiveness is considered a positive. So when you're angry and you're mad, it means that you're being assertive and that you're taking care of things. Um, it also is a sign of masculinity. Why? Because look, that man is angry. He's a big burly person, or he's a person who's got a temper, and so we are excited about that. We're like, yeah, he will stand, he'll fight for you. So, because if he's angry, he'll fight for you. We'll make sure that that'll happen. He can protect you and fight for you. If he can fight, then you can fight, and we're all going to be good. Um, is that all good? Is the question, and what does it mask? That is the question. Because the reality is, a lot of times, anger doesn't only do that. What anger does is it masks feelings. It allows people to not have to feel the feelings of sadness. Maybe they've had a loss lately. Maybe they're dealing with grief. Maybe the fact is that they are having an emotional response and they don't know what to do with it. So, what happens is you get mad and you get mad. And again, like I said, you can get mad and get mad, and the top section is going to tell you all the great things that say when you're mad, they're going to be like, that's fine. He's incredible. He's assertive. He's just, he is going through some aggression. We're fine with it. It's okay. Or he's an athlete, or he's in executive leadership and all of that. Hello, good to see you. Is it Mariah? Good to see you again, Mariah. I'm glad you're back. Um, Hello, good to see you, Jennifer. So, I really, really am excited, and I love. Welcome on board. Hello, welcome board. So, I really, really do not, and I worry about that. I do worry about that. I worry about masking. I worry about. There's a lot of research on vulnerability. If you watch Brene Brown, you will see her, and you'll see all the things that she's talking about when it comes to vulnerability and people being wondering what's going on and how to that is a power play. It is not something that's a weakness, it's a strength, and the people you need to use that. So that is fantastic. Is vulnerability, or is could you do you equate anger with love? That's not healthy. It just isn't. That is not a thing. If you are a person who likes to fight, or you like to argue, and you like to physically get into it, and then you figure that's going to work for you, that's not great. And I can tell you, as the father of two sons that have been through that when they were very, very young, and the reason I have them is because of that. That is a destructive way of thinking if anger's that. Now, am I sitting here saying I'm perfect? Absolutely not. I make mistakes. I get mad. I get angry. That happens, and I have to figure out how I'm going to deal with it. I have to work on my anger all the time. Hello, Elena. Hello. Glad to have you here. So I'm glad you guys are here. Hello, Melon Fizz. Okay. Yeah. So I am always working on myself. I think it's important to do that. I think it's important that you will go in and dig deep and figure out what you do well and what you don't do well and analyze the situation. When you do that, great things happen. If you don't do that and you're sitting there and you're just letting things happen, you're like, oh, I don't have to work on it. Everything's fine. Everybody else is a problem. Then that's a problem. So that's not great either. Dealing with grief, this is a natural part of the grief process. Anger is actually the very first thing that happens when you lose somebody or you're dealing with grief in some situation. You get mad first. Why? Because it is the easiest and the quickest emotion for you to deal with. So you're going to get angry, you're going to get mad, you're going to have thoughts about that, and then you're going to work through the other 6 stages because there's 7 stages of grief. Um, Now, the other part of it is, and this is something that people don't like to talk about, and I'm going to have that conversation. Being angry also shows a lack of control. Even though people are going, what? I'm in control. Absolutely not. Um, it is actually a lack of control. And so the idea of you losing your control and getting mad all the time actually is a bigger problem. Where if you are composed and you can stay calm and you can handle your anger in a constructive manner, then ultimately you are in more control than if you are losing your mind all the time. Again, there are places where being angry is great. On a football field is great. In a boxing ring is great. My people that play softball here in Norman, Oklahoma, when they hit the bat, they should be angry and they should hit that thing as hard as they can. Um, when you're in a relationship, not great. When you got kids, not great. When you're doing a job that doesn't require it, not great. Now, sometimes that anger can be used to fuel you and get you mad, but then what do you do with it? Do you then go in and help people? Do you get mad and then create a solution and go make things happen? That's fantastic. That's using it as a propellant to get things done. You also can be mad and angry at an injustice, at something you see that's just is not right. We do that, that gets us motivated. That can motivate change and make things happen, and that's fantastic as well. So there are all different ways that we can do things. The ways that you can fix anger. One that's very basic and people hate it. That is deep breathing, literally breathing in, breathing out. A breathe up count, a breathe out, double count, and breathing in and out. That will help you. Making sure that you know the reason why you're angry. And if it's something that you need to fix, like there are basic needs that HALT is fantastic. If you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, those are 4 things that when that happens, you need to halt or stop and then do the next thing. So if you're hungry, go get some food, go eat. If you're angry, let's work it down. Let's bring it down. If you're lonely, then you need to go find connection, whether it's with somebody else or somewhere else, or just get out and connect with people. Or if you're tired, get some sleep. That is HALT. So if you can do all those things and create that HALT, that is a great tool for people. Maybe you need to exercise. Go out and run, go out and swim, go out and play sports of some kind. That's to get that energy out and to really stop that. Um, so all these ways that you can go ahead and limit your anger. It's eating good food. It's getting rest. It's getting a massage. It's doing the things that you need to calm yourself down and have the right people around you. I hope that this has been helpful to have this discussion on anger. I think it's important. I know that we all have this as a situation that does happen, but we can look at it, analyze it, walk through it, and use the tools that I've given you in this podcast to help you out. Thank you so much. And if you haven't watched my other podcasts, I try to do them once a week. I will be doing them probably around 3 o'clock instead of 4. So I gotta go pick up kiddos. So you guys have a great day, and I cannot wait to see you again next week.